Hey guys, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks. And the 9.16 test server was just released, and this video is going to update you with everything there is to know of what to look forward to in the next patch of World of Tanks. Firstly, there are a hell of a lot of changes to the interface of your garage. A lot of you do not like the fact that there is only one tank row. Well, Wargaming are now incorporating the popular tank carousel modification to be able to have the option of having 2 rows. So there you go, twice as many tanks displayed, which should make it easier for you to scroll through your garage. However, I think this is only really going to be useful for players with up to about 50 tanks. When you start to get beyond that, I really still think that you have to make use of the filter system. But I guess it's quite nice now with the carousel to be able to take a look at all of your tier 10s with a simple scroll. Next up, there is an indication of how you are doing with your personal missions. Here we can see what mission you're trying to achieve. When you mouse over it, it will tell you what you have to do on your current mission before you enter the battle. So for example, doing this mission, Heavy Tank 6, which requires me to kill 2 enemy heavy tanks that are 2 tiers higher than me. Maybe I don't want to try and do that in my tier 10 vehicle because it's impossible. But it is very handy to be able to just click here and then you can quickly change what you want to do. And that should certainly make it faster than having to go through several different clicks to be able to find what you want to get up to. Next up, Wargaming have basically taken what I use in my tank reviews, i.e. a compare system, and added it straight into the garage. By selecting a tank and clicking in the upper right hand corner, you can add it to the comparison list. Then you can click the compare button and there you go, all of the statistics of the different vehicles for you to compare. And if there's one that you missed out on, maybe you want to take a look at how this stacks up compared to the tier 10 Japanese heavy tank, then you can simply add it in here. This is a very nice system, and the only thing it really is lacking is having the gun dispersion values and also the terrain resistance values. As Wargaming is still hiding those away from you, but they're very important to know about because it dramatically affects your aim time and also the mobility of your tank. So you're probably still going to have to go on to Tanks GG to be able to see that. Wargaming continued to make dramatic changes to the sound interface. Now they're using the Audio Kinetic Wise system. Apparently they've enhanced the low quality sounds without it impacting upon your performance. So if you're playing on a low spec PC, that should help you out quite a lot. And also there's now the option to have your music inside the garage as well as in battle if you're interested in that kind of thing. One bizarre feature of the patch is that there are now 3 options for 6th Sense sound. This is the sound that we all know and are familiar with. Then there is a variant 2. It sounds like the aliens are coming to get you, but there is also, fantastically, the option to have a user sound file, and I decided to go with the classic. It's a trap! So if you're interested, it does explain how to be able to change that. You simply have to put an MP3 file inside your res/audio ww folder and name it 6th Sense. And one of the best things about this switching system is that maybe you could have something that was a little ridiculous as your user sound, but if you wanted to go back to the normal, then you can just do it at the touch of a button. There is a brand new tab inside the settings, and that is called Feedback. And boy, what a change this is to World of Tanks. Now there is the option to use advanced fire direction indicators, which will tell you pretty much exactly where you have either blocked some damage, where you have been crit, or where you have actually taken damage. So here we go in the mouse, we get hit by a TVP, we can see 320 blocked, 640 blocked, the mouse hits us for 517, the E50M crits us, and the TVP actually bounces 3 shells off us for 960, followed up by an IS-7 bounce. But this actually has some pretty dramatic implications for World of Tanks, because now for the first time you can tell what tank did damage to you and exactly where they are. Look, we can tell that there was a Cromwell Berlin who just shot me that Pepperdy is playing. And what this also allows you to do is, look, if we align the black with the white just perfectly, we can almost pinpoint where we got hit from. So this is going to have 2 rather dramatic implications. Number 1, you will be able to tell almost exactly the location of a tank that either crits you or does damage to you. Remember that previously in World of Tanks, when you got crit by an opponent, it would still tell you their name at the bottom of the screen with the indicator of where the damage came from. But previously, if they just did damage to you, it would give you no indication at all. And that will be changed in 9.16 if this is not a bug and it is indeed intended. And secondly, it means that if you're a very sneaky player and you like to snipe at long ranges at opponents that physically can't see you, then you're certainly going to have to be on your guard next patch, because they are going to be able to more accurately than ever pinpoint your location and try a blind shot. Next, there is also the option to sum up the amount of damage you have done in the battle, how much you have blocked with your armor, and also the assistance damage that you have done. So here we can see the damage being added up. It tells us when we're spotting opponents, it tells us when we've crit them, when we're adding in the damage. Hopefully we'll get some kind of assistance soon and you can see that working out. Basically this, I guess, replaces the ribbon system in the game, which was a cool feature, but let's be honest, the ribbon system wasn't very intelligent. Now you're getting to know exactly how much assistance damage you're doing, how much damage you have blocked, and all in all this should allow you to more accurately be able to maybe target missions, or maybe you're trying to get an ace tanker in a specific vehicle, or maybe you're trying to unlock marks of excellence. Oh my word, look at this absolute run that we're on in the TVP. Oh, if only my games were this good on the live server. Oh, there we can see, look, damage upon spotting. It tells you exactly how many times and how much. And then it records it down here for you. That should be absolutely fantastic for your light tanks to be able to know how much of an impact you're having in the game. Or perhaps if you're just getting close again to a mark of excellence or an ace tanker. Remember that spotting is still very useful for you to be able to get closer. Being just as important as doing damage, unless you're trying to farm WN8 at least, right guys? Oh well, a bit of a misplay by me at the end of the game, but I wasn't expecting to have to get 8 kills. I was only playing this one to just try and show you the meters down at the bottom. So no damage blocked, only 337 assistance damage and nearly 6,000 regular damage. I guess this pretty much removes the need to be using hit logs and damage meters in mod packs. And overall, it's a great feature that really Wargaming should have been putting in the game years ago, so it's good to see them catching up. And the only thing I don't really like about these meters is that we can't see what ammunition was fired at us, but I can understand that Wargaming don't want to tell you when you're being hit by premium rounds because they don't want any kind of drama around that. And also I don't like the fact that it doesn't record how much damage you received on your previous hit, and so unless you physically are looking to see how much health you lost, you can't tell. Patch 9.15.1 will be the last time that you'll be able to talk to your opponents inside the random queue. They are going to be disabling the all battle chat. I guess for toxicity reasons, and also the fact that tilted players quite often like to give up the position of their allies after they've died to the enemy team. And I think I'm sitting on the fence with this decision. I can understand why they're doing it, and the amount of crap that I have to put up that's said to me from the enemy team, and sometimes when your own allies give up your position, is disheartening. On the other hand, we're going to be losing awesome things like those rare occurrences where the enemy team might congratulate you on a good play. Sure, it's rare, but when it does happen, it does feel very rewarding. While there are good and bad things about this change, one thing that a lot of the players who were upset about it being removed have suggested is why couldn't there just have been an option to disable battle chat with your opponents? And it's a shame for this feature to be lost because frankly some people are incapable of controlling themselves. And if the report system in the game was fully functional, then surely the players that they're trying to target to stop abusing the system would have had their privileges of chatting removed altogether anyway, right? Wargaming trialed 4 new minimaps in patch 9.15.1 and they are adding in another 26 in patch 9.16, so I guess they've been well received and they think they're a good idea. What these maps aim to do is clearly indicate the most important features of the battlefield. So for example, here it's every single building that might be able to provide you cover from a certain direction, as well as clearly indicating the outline of impassable terrain. And I think that's a good change. It's very unclear, for example, this impassable terrain in 9.15.1 on Lakeville, and in the new map in 9.16 this is very clear cut. And while the new maps are certainly not going to be to everyone's taste, I think they should help out the newer players who are not so experienced with the 40+ maps that are in World of Tanks to quickly establish the different routes that you can go down and maybe some of the more important buildings that you can hide behind. And that about sums it up. One of the main features, well at least is meant to be the main feature of 9.16, is the fact that you're going to be able to play the Stridsvagn M4257 Alt A2. But unfortunately it's not playable on the 9.16 test server, so you guys are going to have to wait for my full tank preview on the vehicle. But before I finish, there is one thing that I haven't highlighted yet in the video, and that is probably the most awesome feature about 9.16. And that is that Wargaming have made dramatic improvements to the spotting system in World of Tanks. So now we're going to have Peppity, who's driving a Cromwell Berlin, drive in front of me in a position on Pilsane in patch 9.15.1. and we can clearly see that she doesn't really get spotted until this point. So now let's take a look at it real time on the 9.16 test server. We can clearly see that Peppity is actually spotted way before this pillar, almost instantly when she comes behind the rubble, which is where she should be spotted. But she wouldn't have been for the last 5 years of World of Tanks, hey? So here's the comparisons side by side. And then once again in slow motion, we can see that in 9.16 the Cromwell appears pretty much just as it comes around the rubble, whereas in 9.15.1 it's probably travelled about maybe 10-20 meters before it's spotted. And so a huge thumbs up to Wargaming for this change. It really is one of the best changes in recent memory. And so hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, or maybe it was just useful to you. If it was, please consider giving it a like. It really helps the channel out. And let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about all of these features coming to 9.16. Do you disagree with the fact that you're going to be able to tell where your opponents are going to be? Or do you think it's a necessary feature to give you a fighting chance against unspotted opponents? And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.